I guess I really don't know what Christmas is all about.
Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm just popping in before you watch this video to let you know that this video is slightly different than normal Vlogmas. I know we've talked about this a little bit, but vlogging daily during a stay-at-home order in the middle of a pandemic is a lot. So I thought that I would throw in a sort of normal main channel video in the middle of Vlogmas here. I still think that it's a really fun video. It's more along the lines of my freelance work. So I just wanted to pop in and let you guys know that this will be a slightly different episode of Vlogmas, but I hope you enjoy it anyway, and I'll see you tomorrow for a regular vlog. And let's go ahead and hop into the video. I'm super excited for today's video. So for some of you who may not know, I work in freelance social media management, but I also do a wide range of other tasks like creation, content creation, design, stuff like that. And I love coming on this channel and sharing information about my freelance career, how I got started, how I find clients, etc., because I just find it cool to be able to help out other people who may be interested in getting involved with that as well. But one thing I've never done is actually sat down with you guys and showed you how I would create a graphic from start to finish. So that's what we're doing in today's video. I thought this was a sort of cool opportunity to not only share my holiday gift guide with you guys a little bit, but also share how I created it. When I went into filming this video, I had no idea what I wanted this gift guide to look like, what I wanted the end result to be, anything like that. So you get to see the whole creative process from start to finish. And I created the whole thing using my Dell XPS 13, and Dell was kind enough to sponsor this video, which I really appreciate. Look at how beautiful this computer is. I cannot get enough of this, you guys. First of all, it's so lightweight, I can't even tell you. It's thin as heck. It is just the most sleek design. I have to show you guys the inside of it too, because like, wow, look at that. This is actually a brand new design for them. It features more than 1 million more pixels than their last one did. So it's just the clearest screen. It's so good for creating graphics. But even if creating graphics is not what you do, they really designed this laptop with everyone in mind. So no matter what you plan to use it for, it really is designed for you. It's extremely powerful, extremely fast. It makes my job so much easier. I can't even tell you guys. So I am really excited that I get to share this with you today. And speaking of gift guides, I feel like this would be an awesome gift coming up for the holidays, really for anyone in your life, or even if you want to treat yourself to something. I know I desperately needed a new laptop, so I am so excited to have this computer on my side. I also love how big the screen is. Like, there's barely an edge around it, which just makes it so nice for creating. Overall, I mean, look at this. It's perfect. So anyway, with all of that being said, let's go ahead and hop into the video. Alrighty guys, we are here with my Dell XPS 13 and we are ready to start creating. I really don't have an idea for what I'm going to do, what I want this to look like. Oh, hello Molly Cat. But we've got our coffee, aka our brain juice. Hi. We have a cat here to help and we're gonna figure this out together. So obviously this is something that's for my social media versus like for a client's social media, but this is exactly how I would create something for a client. So I feel like you still get the same idea. I am sort of like my own client, so there you go. And the only prep work that I've done for this is that I picked out the stuff that I want to be included in the guide. So other than that, we're gonna be doing everything from scratch together. So I'm obviously going to start by creating sort of the cover, like the first thing that I want people to see on my Instagram story. That's why I like to do it, like a cover page introduces what's happening, and then as they tap through, they get the content. I wanna start by finding some sort of background, holiday background that I can use. So I just went to Google and typed in holiday pattern, which is basically what I would do. And you can scroll through and find lots of free ones. Okay, so this is not what I originally had in mind, but I really like this pattern here. I like that it's not just your classic like red and green. It's sort of something a little different, so I'm digging that. I think we should use it. I think that'll be really cute and just a good color scheme for us to be able to use. So I'm just gonna copy that, and then I'm just going to paste it into this document. There we go. I'm actually gonna paste it 2 more times also, because I think that will fill up this whole space. We obviously need this to continue. And in case you're wondering, Instagram stories are 1080 by 1920 pixels. So that's what you would need to open your document size as. So I'm just gonna start with this first layer. I'm just turning those other 2 off, and I'm going to use Control T, which opens up the transform, which basically means you can change the size of this. You can move it around anywhere, you can turn it, anything you wanna do to it. So I just wanna move this up to the top. You can see this pink line shows that it's exactly centered, and then I'm gonna click enter, and there you go. I'm just gonna do that with all of these until it fills up the whole screen. All right, that's good. And then I'm just going to select all of these layers over here right click and hit merge. Yep, down here, merge layers. There we go. And then I'm gonna do Control T again because I sort of want to move this around a little bit. I want it to be sort of like that, I think. That looks good. I do think this is a little bit bold color-wise. Like I sort of want the colors to be toned down slightly. So I think I'm gonna come over here to the opacity tool and just drag it down just a little. Like, that's way too much for sure. What about like, yeah, 85. That looks good. Just tones it down so that it's not like too much. Okay, so quickly I just went through and selected colors out of this and saved them into my swatches over here. That process is really simple. I just zoom in a little and then you're just gonna grab this eyedropper tool and select the blue. I open this up, I hit add to swatches, but I already did that, so I'm not gonna do it again. And I did that with obviously this blue, this red, and then I also created this lighter pink from this red color just by opening up this and, you know, moving it around until I found a pink that I liked because I was thinking that a lighter color might be good to mix in as well. Okay, so for this, I sort of picture some sort of, you know, geographic shape, and then we'll put the text inside of that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come over here and select this tool. This is the polygonal lasso tool. So sort of what I see, well, let's come down here and open up a new layer. Okay, so I sort of see it like being a little long on this side, coming up over here, out this way, but a little shorter, and then over here and connecting. And let's just go ahead and use this paint bucket tool over here and fill that in this red just so that we can see it a little bit clearer. This actually is like a pretty good start, I think. I think I want to take part of this top off. So I'm just using that lasso tool again and selecting the area that I want to delete and then just hitting the delete. And now I think I'm gonna use the transform tool again. I sort of want to shift it like this, maybe spread it out a little, and let's center it up. Yeah, I dig that. I think that's cool, but I don't think that I like it in the red, so I'm just gonna change it to this pink color that I picked out. I think that'll be better, and then maybe if we double tap on this layer here, we can get this layer style box open, and I think that we should add in like an outline of the red color. I think this should be a little less. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. And then I'm also thinking maybe a drop shadow here, but I definitely want to change this up. So the way that I like to do mine for stuff like this is get rid of the spread and the size all the way down to 0. And then the opacity up to like 100. And just have the distance here where it just sort of pops out a little from the bottom there, you can see. I want it on a little bit of an angle too. All right, I'm really liking the vibe of this so far. I think it's really coming together in a nice way. Now let's talk about fonts. So this is the only prep thing that I did is I already downloaded a font that I want to use for this. I found it on dafont.com. It's so simple to download free fonts from there. That's where I get all of my fonts from, so keep that in mind. Hi. Okay, so we're gonna come over here to the text tool and we are just going to draw a text box. Let's set the font color to black just to have it there for now. And this is the font that I'm gonna use. It's called Fireplace. And it is very fun and Christmassy. So I want it to say like holiday, I think. We'll have this obviously quite a bit bigger. Yeah, and you can see that it has like cute little stars around it. I really like it. And I actually think I want this to be in our red color. I think that'll look pretty. And then we're gonna go in for another one. But we're gonna change the font to my favorite font that I use for like everything in general, Torino. It's so good. Again, let's just set it to black for this and see. Actually, maybe this in white might look a little nicer. Yeah, I sort of dig that. Maybe slightly smaller too, because I'm thinking I want to add some spacing. So I'm just gonna add spaces in between each of these, just so that it looks a little nicer. Now for arranging them a little. So I want this to obviously move down. And I actually think this, like I hate how much lower the Y comes down because it makes the spacing sort of weird. Like that looks off to my eye. So I'm actually gonna use the transform tool and just, I think maybe make it go a little bit sideways, but to the eye it won't look that way. Like as you can see, it just sort of evens up that bottom line a little bit. I think these need a drop shadow though. So let's open this up, drop shadow. Yeah, it needs to be a little bit closer, but I think that'll look nice. Yeah, look at that. That looks really good. Let me add it to this too. Sick. I really dig this. I think this looks really cool. All right, well, really just like that, we're done with our cover page. So here's something that I love to do when I'm creating these Instagram stories is keep it really organized over on the side because it can get really confusing what layers are what. So what I'm gonna do is just select all of the layers that are involved in this cover page. And I'm going to click this little folder button down there. It's gonna put it all into a folder together. I'm gonna call this cover, cover. There we go. And now as you can see, all of that is sort of linked together in this one easy folder. We can go ahead now and create a new layer. I'm just going to fill it in white and we're on to the actual gift guide. So for this, as I said, I've already picked out all of the items that are going to be included. So I have them all in here in different groups. Here's everything that I'm gonna have. And basically from here, I'm just gonna copy every single one of these images into our document. So I just say copy image and then paste it in. Okay, so I have everything in here and I also just went through and named each of the layers what they are so that it's a little bit easier to keep track of what I'm working with and where. So for arranging this slide, what I'm gonna do is use this tool up here, which is the move tool. It makes it really easy. Anything you click, you can move even if you're not on that layer. So I sort of do just wanna move all of these a little bit out of the way. Actually, maybe I should add some text up to the top just so that we get a good idea of where we should start positioning things. Okay, I messed around with the font sizes on those a little, but I'm liking where we're at there. So I'm gonna start arranging now. So we're gonna come over here to this move tool again, and we're just gonna start arranging these things. I wanna make this a little bit bigger, I think. Liking this sort of general layout here, I think. Okay, so here's something to keep in mind that I actually haven't been. At the top of Instagram stories, when you're scrolling through them, there are a couple little buttons at the top when people are scrolling. Actually, it's like their username. So you want to try to keep sort of this top little bit here fairly clear of anything important. So I definitely need to move that text down. Just shift all of this down a little bit. Yeah, there we go. And then at the bottom here, I sort of wanted to say like swipe up to shop so that people know they can do that. Maybe we should add a drop shadow. And maybe to my wish list too. Let's add a drop shadow there too. Feeling like we need to incorporate that background image that we used a little bit in this. What if we just utilize this little bit right here? Like, I think that could be really cute actually. Ooh, inspiration. Let's delete that and delete this. Just that. And what if we just put that like up along the top here? Yeah, we need to rearrange a little bit, but I actually really like the way that that looks. There we go. Maybe this gets moved up a little too so I can add a little note, which is what we're gonna do now. So when I do things like this, I do really like adding in like notes, things that I think about things for like 1 or 2 items. So yeah, we'll put it in Trino, definitely really small. And let's try it in gray and see how that goes. So I'm gonna start by just creating a little box over here because my coffee always gets cold or something like that, which is true. Here we are. What if we do this in like the blue color to incorporate that in here? And I also really sort of want this to be italicized. So I can do that by coming over here to this character button. And then you can see there are lots of options here. So I can just make it italicized that way. Cute, and then we'll add like a little arrow pointing over there. And then I feel like for this, I can just say like, love this trend. Okay, so for the arrows, I'm gonna be using a brush. I'm not gonna show you how to like create brushes today, but I'll try to remember to link a tutorial down below. Either way, you can just say like how to use Photoshop brushes on YouTube. There's a million tutorials, but I don't wanna spend too much time on that here today. You could also just use like this tool here, and you could literally just draw your own arrow by hand. You can see that is not my strong suit. That's what my arrow would look like. But that is totally possible if you don't want to use the brushes. But I prefer the brushes because as you can see, it's not great. So I'm gonna come over here and just select one of the arrow brushes that I have saved already. And I think maybe in the pink color. I'm gonna make it a little bigger, which you can do by using the brackets. And I'm just gonna click that down there and then use the transform tool to have it point the direction that I want. Thinking I might like shorten up this tail a little bit. Cute, look at that, you guys. It actually came together pretty easily. I feel like I need one more thing. I know, this is one of my favorite things to do on Instagram story posts. So as you can see, most of these things have a white background, so they blend in really well. But this one sort of sticks out because obviously it doesn't. So I like to add a little something to images that don't have a white background. So what I'm gonna do is just select that layer. What we're gonna do is use this magic selector tool here. And I'm going to, while on the slippers layer, so this is the image that's on that layer, I'm gonna click anywhere except on that image. And as you can see, this line shows up because everything except that image is selected. But here's the thing, is we want like just this one shape selected because we're gonna add a little background. So I'm just going to right click and hit select inverse. That makes it now just on that. I hope you guys are following this. And what I'm gonna do is add a new layer, position it below the slippers layer, come over here to the fill bucket, and I'm thinking that we'll do it in blue because there isn't a lot of blue on there. And then we're just gonna use this transform tool, and we're just gonna like move this little blue box down so that it adds sort of like a little drop shadow type thing. I think that looks cute, maybe one less. And it just sort of pulls it together and adds another element of design in there. I think that's really good. But there you go. I feel like this is great, and I'm really happy with the way that this worked out here. I think it looks pretty good. So that's sort of the whole process. I hope that that was interesting and helpful, and that I wasn't moving too fast or whatever. This is a bit of a more advanced tutorial, quote unquote. Yeah, so sort of what I think I'm gonna do now, well, I'm definitely gonna throw all of these into a folder the same way I did with the first one. So we're gonna call this My Wish List. And now here's the thing, we want every slide to have this like swipe up to shop, this border, this gift guide. This is gonna change, but we want it in the same position on every slide. So what we're gonna do is just come over here and right click on the My Wish List layer, and we're just gonna hit duplicate group, and it's just gonna create an entire copy of that, as you can see here. If you open it up, it's all the same stuff in there. So basically we just want to delete like the extra stuff, the arrows, all my little notes, all of the items that are in there. We'll just select all of that and delete it, but the rest stays, and then we can put the new items in and, you know, do it again. So I think for this bit, I'm just gonna let you watch a sped up version of me create another slide, and then I'll go and create the rest of it off camera and show you the finished product. Well friends, I have officially completed this gift guide. It took me about an hour and a half in the end to make this whole thing, just for reference. And I'm gonna walk you through all of it now and just sort of show you the finished product. So here is obviously the cover page, which we made together. It's looking real cute. Over here, my wish list, again, that we made together. I did sort of change the spacing slightly on some of this, but for the most part, it's the same as exactly what we did. Here's my For Your BFF, which you guys watched me make. Again, I did change a few little things. I switched the arrows around and sort of moved a little bit, but this is generally what you watched me create. And then here's the ones that you didn't see. So this is For Your Parents, which I think turned out really cute. For Your Man. And then lastly, Shop Small, because I wanted to feature some of my favorite small businesses. And there you have it. That is the entire gift guide. I'm really happy with the way it turned out. If you want to actually shop this gift guide, you can check it on my Instagram. It's gonna be up on my Instagram stories and also saved in a highlight on my page. So you can go ahead and check that out there. I also want to give Dell a little shout out here again and thank them for sending me this computer and allowing me to show you guys how easy it is to make graphics like this on a computer that runs this well. It just is really, really great for these creative projects. It just moves at a good pace. It's beautiful to look at, which is always something that I care about. I just love the aesthetic of something really nice and clean. And so it's been very fun getting to show you guys how I use this computer to create stuff like this. If you have any questions about what I did or anything else, feel free to leave them down below. Also, make sure you check out Dell. I'm gonna have a link in my description for you to check out this computer if you're interested in getting it yourself. I also wanna say, if you don't have Photoshop, if you're looking for something a little bit easier to use, I would check out SparkPost. It's a free app, I believe, completely free, and it has tons of built-in templates, or you can make your own, but it's just a little bit easier to use. It's all on your phone. It's free, so if you are looking to create graphics and this is a little bit too much for you, I recommend checking that out because I think it's a really good place to start. I still use it for a lot of stuff when I don't feel like making a whole thing like this from scratch. So feel free to give that a look-see too if this was a little too much. But I do hope that this was helpful, informative for you guys. And that's it for me. So thank you guys for watching, and make sure you stay tuned because we have Vlogmas coming up in just a few days here. All right guys, I'll see you then. Bye.
Isn't there anyone who knows what Christmas is all about?